So we'd be tying a Dolly Llama. It's by far my favorite pattern for bull trout, but I'll fish them a lot smaller in the river as well for pike, walleye, goldeye, pretty much anything will eat it. So starting with the back hook, for this one we're using a 1/0 Arex TP 610 Trout Predator. For the back section we're using a hairline magnum strip. And you can get a full strip for your fly, but you want to cut it at the 2/3 mark.
So you use 1/3 of the length,
Yeah.
or how long would that be?
Yeah, we're using 1/3 of the length for the tail section, and then we'll use a longer section up front. And I always like to cut a little V into the end of my rabbit, so it moves a little bit better in the water.
At the tail?
Yeah, yeah. So on our hook shank, we're going to use diamond braid. We're going to wrap it all the way back. And then just wrap forward. So now we're going to take our shorter bunny section. We want to measure about a hook shank length back and then poke a hole with the hook through the bottom side of the hide. And then put your hook back in the vise.
You use strictly white for this, or?
I'll use strictly white mostly for bulls, sometimes black and white. I use like black and white or olive white on the river. You can use really whatever colors you want. All white just seems to always work the best for bulls. So for our front section, we're using a 2/0. The reason is because of the size of the eye of the hook. Our cone's going to butt real nice up against that without covering the eye. I'll usually use a cut shank for the front, so I'm not using 2 hooks with the fish. So you can either use a cut shank in your vise if you have good hard jaws, or you can use a hook and then cut it after with some side cutters. Cone on, using a 7/16 brass cone. For stinger wire, we're using 65-pound Power Pro. If you're just fishing for trout, you can use 20-pound Dacron flyline backing. But I like the Power Pro because if I do choose to use it for pike, I know that they're not going to bite through it right away. And I've tried tying them with wire too, but the fly just doesn't swim quite like I want it to. And back through the cone. then here's where you're gonna measure how long your fly is. I like anywhere between like 3 and 5.5 inches for fishing locally. And then fishing bulls out in BC, I'll usually go like 7 inches if I'm fishing in the fall.
This lid work?
Yes, it's 035. I'll usually use 035 with a 7/16 cone. If I'm going a little smaller using a 3/8 cone, I'll use 030. It just seems like the right size to butt up underneath that cone. A little bit of zappy gap in front of the cone. Push the lead forward, and then pull back. You want to wrap the lead back and leave enough room so you can tie in that bunny strip. More zappy gap. And here we're going to tie in some cross-cut rabbit for the body. Do you want to turn the fly over? You have your longer piece, so you cut that little V in already. You want it to be slightly longer than your bottom section. So what you want to do here is use your thread and kind of grab onto that little chunk of hide that's left and pull it in underneath the cone. I'll add a lateral line. This stuff has a bit of a curve to it. I usually like having that curve facing inwards.
What's that stuff?
It's Opal Mirage lateral scale. It's just a Flashabou that has some crinkles in it. It gives off a nice flash in the water.
What size of tippet do you use to tie this on?
12-pound maxim I usually, like 12 or 15.
How heavy a rod?
Usually an 8 or a 9 weight. Or a switch rod on the river with a little bit smaller fly. So you have that tied in right in the middle like a lateral line. And then just cut it slightly shorter than your hook.
What kind of thread you using?
Using a Vivis 140 power thread. It's like, it's a flat thread like UTC, but it's a lot stronger. I usually zap it up all the way around. You could use like a UV resin, you could use the fancy new colored resins, give it gills if you want to. You could use dubbing up front, a lot of different options.
You could also use marker.
Yeah, yeah,
Strand.
yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it.